life is springing up everywhere. Wow. Finally. Gosh, I've been wanting to get out here for a while. But with the crazy winter snow that we had, it kind of set me back a bit. But I'm here now. And I thought that I would talk to you about balance. Finding balance in your life, whether it be in the physical or in the spiritual aspect of your life. But it's so important. It's a big topic, but it seems to come up in a lot of things. Our day-to-day when we are trying to juggle so much. And it comes up in topics such as even politics, but the thing is to find balance and to find that harmony, to find that oneness in all things, whether that be in our everyday, in our spiritual life. If we all had that balance, I always say, if we all had that balance on the inside, the world would be such a better place than it is right now. The reason for that being is, if we're constantly divided, whether it be on the inside, if the world is constantly divided on the outside, how are we ever going to come together? How will we ever be at peace? Whether that be within ourselves or, like I said, with the world in general. There are two sides of our brain, right and left brain, right? You have the left brain that's all about logic, math, science, things that need to be proven with facts, And then you have the spiritual side of the brain, which is, the creative aspect of yourself, the spiritual aspect, the part of your brain that taps into intuition and your inner knowing, the things that can't be proven with solid facts, the illogical, the intuitive, like I said once again, the soul. And it's the merging of those two things, when they finally come together and find balance, is where we find our center, okay? So just take, for instance, you have the left side of the brain, which is, logic, reason, facts, science. Let's associate that with the color red. Take, for instance, politics. Politics are divided also between red and blue, right? So now we take the right side of the brain, which is about intuition, spirituality, creativity, your inner knowing, your inner satellite navigation system, tapping into those spiritual aspects of your life, your dreams, okay? If those two sides of ourselves are always fighting each other, right? How could we ever find harmony and unity and balance within ourselves? We're always going to be divided one way or the other. I'll give another association with, the left side or the red side of the brain. Consider that like your physical world, the things you can touch, see, taste, hold, smell, your physical reality. And then you have the right side of the brain, which would be your spiritual reality, your spiritual world. When we can't alchemize the two, when we can't find balance between the two, or when we're trying to prove spirituality with logic and reason, for example, how are we ever going to find the balance within ourselves that we need to just be at peace and at one with everything, every aspect of ourselves? The material world versus the spiritual world. These two things are always at odds with each other. The goal is to harmonize, to find balance between the two, to realize you are a spiritual being living in a physical reality, coming to terms with the two things. When you're too too much on one side over the other. For example, I often find myself leaning more towards the spiritual. The physical world that I live in, I feel like a conflict with it, okay, because it doesn't align with how I feel spiritually. There's a lot wrong with the world in this physical reality. So I'm always, conflicted with this physical existence, okay? That's just an example. But the answers come when you can, like I said, alchemize the two aspects, the two parts of us, the spiritual and the physical, that are always conflicted. When we can reach a happy medium between the two is when we find our center, when we find our oneness, okay? So just for example, your crown chakra, all right, is associated with the color purple. When you mix red and when you mix blue, you get purple. When these two aspects of yourself or of the brain come together, okay, it's where you find your center. It's where your pineal gland resides. That's where your crown chakra is. And you become whole, okay? You're not two people divided within one body, okay? You become whole. You become one man, one woman. So I think that is the goal. If a lot of us can find that balance and peace within ourselves, we can express that out into the physical world. If everybody found that little tidbit of oneness and wholeness and stopped being so divided, the world would be a better place. We see so much division in this physical reality. We see it all the time. Everything is warring against each other. Black versus white. You have Democrat versus Republican. Think about how if we're constantly divided, we can never come together. We're always pitted against each other. But if we stop allowing ourselves to be swayed one way more than the other, okay? If we stop being pulled to one side more over than the other, if we can find the middle ground and stop allowing everything around us to influence the way we think and feel, and then if we could just start to allow ourselves to be led and guided by our own knowing, it would be impossible for any of us to be fooled. If we could stop allowing ourselves to be pulled in one direction over another, if we could stop being influenced by the things that we see and not be so easily convinced over one side over another, we would find that happy medium, we would find that equilibrium, we would find that harmony within ourselves to be able to know for ourselves or discern what's right and what's wrong. But that's the thing. I think this world will try to do that to you. It'll try to keep you divided. Look at the media. It tries to sway your opinion instead of you critically thinking for yourself, I think that's part of the problem. Not enough of us are tapping into that inner knowing, that discernment that we all have. Not enough of us are balanced in order to know better. You have to be neutral. You have to be neutral so you're not affected either way. I don't want to say indifferent, but unaffected. It's the constant light versus dark, okay, good versus evil scenario. There's always going to be that great divide, but somehow we have to come to terms with it within ourselves first. The outside world, I think, has its own issues, of course, but I think it all starts with us. So if everybody worked on harmonizing themselves, getting to know themselves, finding their center, finding their little seat within the middle there, that pineal gland and that crown chakra, it will give you discernment. It will prevent you from being swayed to one side more over than another. It would keep you from that imbalance that the world, the physical world and our reality wants to keep you in. It would keep us from, being so divided amongst each other. It would bring peace and harmony, not just to yourself, but to the outside world. We all try to find harmony and balance in our everyday. Some of us are so busy. We're stuck, at work all day. We hardly have time for moments like what I'm doing right now. This is called balance. I have a crazy busy work life during the week. And when I'm not working, this is what I strive for. Finding these moments, because if not, I think I would go crazy. If I have too much work life and not enough of this, I'm a very unhappy girl. If I'm too involved in my work life and I'm not expressing my talents and creativity enough, I'm also a very unhappy person. I have to find that balance between the two. And that's part of self-care as well. Taking care of yourself, knowing what you need physically to survive, but as well as spiritually. That pounding noise that you just heard, that's my other half up there staking out this land, because we will be building a small house on it soon. So I plan on sharing that part of me very soon. It's happening slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. I'm patient. Yeah, but I'm aching to be here now. So my house right now where we are is just not ideal for the way that I have evolved. I need Mother Nature in order to feel sane and healthy. Yeah, it's beautiful here. I would love to be able to wake up to this every day. So guys, I haven't done videos like this in a while just because of the winter and the weather and how cold it is, but I want to encourage you guys to just try to find balance where you need it. Get to know yourself. Take time to get to know yourself. Know thyself. And once you do, you'll start to understand what you need as a spiritual being living in this physical world. The closer you get to, your spiritual side, or that spiritual aspect of yourself, I think the harder this physical journey is sometimes. Because you're so much more than just this meat suit that we call body. And you will have that conflict within yourself. Because sometimes the physical world just doesn't feel like home. But when you can find a way to manage that part of yourself, the conflict that you feel within, because sometimes the physical world just doesn't align with your spiritual, and when you realize that, it does bother you. But once you can find the happy medium between the two aspects of yourself, you will find balance, you will find equilibrium, and you'll be able to just tolerate it. And you'll also find yourself ignoring a lot of the things that are put in front of you to pit you, to one side, over another. You'll find yourself ignoring the television. You'll find yourself, you know, reading books instead. You won't be swayed. You won't feel anything. And I'm not saying that you'll be apathetic to the causes and the plights of the world. No, but you won't allow it to affect you as much. It's a fine line, though. Anyhow, I feel like I'm rambling. This has just been on my mind. I know not everybody's going to understand what I'm saying here. If any of you are new to, you know, spirituality and metaphysical things, and but I'm more than willing to answer questions. I hope I was able to get my point across and be understood. I'm not trying to make this complicated or anything like that, but I just wanted to share that with you, and in hopes that you, I guess, would understand. If any of you have experienced something similar, please feel free to share. I feel rusty doing these videos because it's kind of like off the top of my head. There's no script or anything like that, and I haven't done one of these in a while, so forgive me. But I just wanted to say hello, share this beautiful weather with you, the beautiful scenery, the woods. This really beautiful piece of heaven that I hope to be on soon on the daily, and to kind of share with you where I'm going and what's happening in my life. This is pretty cool. Started off as an idea. And now we're here, so you can manifest things. It's possible. So sending much love to everybody. I hope I didn't ramble too much. Please leave me a comment down below if you feel any of this connects with you. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.